Lord, dear Lord of love, God Almighty, God above, please look down and see my people through. I believe that God put sun and moon out in the sky. I don't mind the gray skies, 'cause they're just clouds passing by. Lord, dear Lord of love, God Almighty, God of love, please look down and see my people through. Often we feel weary, but God knows our every care. Bring to God your heartaches, God will hear our every prayer. Lord, give peace and rest to every troubled mind. Come Sunday, oh come Sunday, that's the day.
Welcome. I'm Jonathan Morgan, Senior Minister of First Congregational Church of Eugene on the corner of 23rd and Harris, and I'm delighted to welcome you to worship. First Congregational is a progressive Christian church that strives to bring to life God's vision of an inclusive, just, and loving world for all. No exceptions. During the past few days, there have been some disturbing reports about our beloved Mackenzie River Valley and its condition after the fire. The thought that the beautiful, pristine land has now been ravaged by the fires and laid to waste hurts. And with all the bad news of late, all the strife, the very sad and deeply felt loss of a powerful voice for equality and justice, the chaos that seems to embrace us each new day, I think we all need a message of hope when there seems like there is no hope. I decided to center this service around the powerful hope that God is not finished creating and recreating us, even in the desert places of our lives. There is hope. Even in the midst of darkness, where the blackened earth appears lifeless, there is hope of a brighter, better, more true tomorrow. This is what the prophet Isaiah wrote about in the 43rd chapter of the book of Isaiah. In it, he guides us by saying, "Do not remember the former things, or consider the things of old. I am about to do a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. The wild animals will honor me, the jackals and the ostriches, for I give water in the wilderness, rivers in the desert, to give drink to my beloved children." Starting over again. The good news that by God's guiding and strengthening Spirit, we will make our way to a brighter, better day, and our world still has a chance to reflect the love and justice of our God. So let us open our hearts and lives to God's loving and strengthening Spirit and the collective spirit of each heart that is gathered here online as we call ourselves into worship. This is the day that God has made, so let us rejoice and be glad in it. This is a day of new beginnings, a time of growing into our faith and doing our best to follow in the ways of Jesus. Come, let us prepare our hearts and minds for worship. Come, let us prepare our hearts to offer God's light for a world that longs for justice and peace and thirsts for living waters. Welcome, everyone. What does it take to start one's life over again? Especially when you gave it your best effort before and somehow ended up back where you first started. Or when you can't seem to move forward because, well, the hits just keep coming and you struggle to find your balance and you end up on the ground exhausted and dispirited. I think many of us feel this way now during these dark and challenging days. The theologian Henry Nouwen once said that all of us run the risk of living life merely on the surface, never reaching its deeper meaning, rerunning again and again an old loop because we are prone to judge ourselves and our self-worth in three ways. By asking, what have I done? What do I possess? What do others say about me? Nouwen goes on to say that these three questions tend to dominate our lives and confuse us into thinking that somehow and in some way we just don't measure up, that we don't deserve anything better, that a second chance, well, it's not in the cards. And over time, we run the risk of losing our way to the point where the world feels gray and dull and devoid of hope. I believe this is a real danger when we try to assess our worth by what we have accomplished, or when we concentrate too heavily on what we believe others see in us. Like the boy who grew up in a family feeling like he somehow didn't measure up to receiving the love he craved because his mother purposefully distanced herself from him for fear of rearing a mama's boy. A deep disconnect which made it very hard for the boy, now a man, to believe he deserved to be fully embraced. A fear he carried closely in his heart. Or the executive who had it all, the big house, the membership in the exclusive clubs, the envy of her peers, everything she would ever want, or so she thought. But deep down inside, deep down, she harbored feelings of emptiness, of loneliness, even a fear that she might be hopelessly lost. What have I done? What do I possess? What do others say about me? Nouwen says that quieting our minds from the noise of these three questions is the first step to starting over again, because they distract us from a greater truth, our faith, which makes very clear that questions are not behind the source of all life, but statements, grace-filled, life-changing declarations of our faith. You are my beloved children. You need not earn my love. My grace is sufficient for you and is my free gift. I will always love you and be by your side. When we turn down the volume of the three questions that haunt and open ourselves up to these statements of God's eternal love, we will begin to feel the embrace we long for. That's when we will discover our full God-given worth. That's when real transformation will happen. That's when we can start again. Now, to be clear, such deep listening takes a lifetime to achieve. To know and accept such an all-encompassing love is not easy for most of us to accept, frankly. The wounds can go that deep. The chorus of the three questions have become so familiar It can be hard to turn them off, to hear anything else. It's all that we know. So, the decision to let go of the questions and embrace our statements of faith takes courage, because we will be letting go of the things we have clung to for so long. Friends, as beloved children of God, let us follow the one who has led us to this place of acceptance and grace. Let us help one another absorb the reality that we are held by a compassionate God through our faith-filled actions of love and justice. Let us embrace this great truth that we are known and loved for who we are, with the assurance that when we do, we will discover the promise of a new way, no matter how far we may have strayed. For we are all beloved children of God.
Over my head, I hear music in the air. Over my head, I hear music in the air. Over my head, I hear music in the air. There must be a God somewhere.
Now, as we leave this time of worship, remember that we may be the only sign of grace someone will receive this week. Share God's graciousness with everyone. Remember, you may be the only love someone will encounter this week. Be the love shown by our brother Jesus to everyone. Remember, you may be the only peace someone will find during these incredibly tumultuous and troubling times. Share the spirit of hope and reconciliation of our faith with everyone. For this time of worship has ended. That the service may begin. God bless everyone. And be safe.